Hey guys, Ollie here from Local Knowledge, and today I'm going to show you how I rig in order to fish these high-speed trolling lures. These have been the rage here in Southern California over the last few years. Everybody's pulling them. And there's a couple little tricks that'll allow you to pull them with a lot less headache and actually get you more bites. And it's pretty simple. All you need to do is you need to have your selected rod and reel that you like to use for trolling these. My go-to here is my Penn 30 VISX. Old reliable. We use the 50s for the kite baits, and then we use the 30s for trolling with. Obviously it's a 2-speed. It's loaded with 100-pound Seaguar Threadlock. Can't say enough good stuff about the Seaguar Threadlock. It's hollow, it fishes great, I can repair it, it's just great stuff. And then this is on a Penn Carnage rail rod. This is the 80 to 130-pound model. When Penn was ready to get into the rail rod business, they came to us and a few more of the West Coast guys, and they said, what do you need? We told them what we need and they delivered. There is simply not a better value in a rail rod than these things. We use them every day to catch these big bluefin, and they work awesome. This has just got braid on it right now, and the first thing I'm gonna do, set my lure down, is I'm gonna put a leader on here. For my leader for this, I use Seaguar. I like the Premier and 100-pound. I could go heavier, but what's gonna happen is the heavier you go, the bigger the diameter of the leader is. The bigger the diameter, the more it causes drag in the water, and when you're dragging these lures real fast, it just doesn't cut the water as well, and it'll cause the lure to come up and flip out of the water on the surface or just not run great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take about 6 to 8 feet of this. I want a really, really short leader. And the reason I want that leader is exactly the same as I just said. You want the leader short so you're making a minimal amount of drag when that lure is being pulled, 10, 12 knots, 15 knots through the water, and it's not gonna wanna rise up to the surface and spin out or flip out. So I easily just pull some off my skein there. There's 6 feet. I'm gonna pull out just a little bit more because I'm gonna lose some line when I make my knot. Go ahead and make a cut. Okay, this is about 7.5 feet a leader. It really does not matter. Now, there's a bunch of knots you could use here. You could do a bimini to an Albright knot. You've got a lot of choices. It doesn't have to be anything in specific. It just has to be really strong. That line is under a ton of pressure when it's in the water, going 15 knots, 12 knots, whatever, and then it gets smashed by a fish. So you're gonna wanna have a knot you can really trust. Bimini to Albright connection works really good here. You could probably get away with an RP knot, but my knot of choice when it's heavy line to heavy leader is always gonna be the FG. It is definitely not the easiest knot to tie, but it's one of the strongest that there is. It's very compact, and most importantly, I just have a lot of faith in it. Okay, so now I've got my leader connected, 6 or 8 feet, 100-pound fluoro. I need to tie on my lure. My go-to knot for stuff like this, I try to keep it really simple, is a uni knot. Make my wraps in 100-pound with a uni, 4 to 5 turns. It's about all you need. Get it wet the old-fashioned way with a little bit of that hawk tua. Walk the knot down, pull it tight. Trim it clean. And now you're ready to deploy. And another tip that we've found is you don't have to be running 12, 15 knots maximum fuel burn speed to get bit on these. What we'll typically do is we'll drag them around like 8 or 9 knots or whatever your most efficient troll speed is, and you'd be surprised how much you get bit going slower. Then, if I see the fish up on the surface or I see meter marks, I just bump it up, keep it up at that 12 knot speed. I'm not even sure if it gets bit better at that speed, but it makes me feel a little bit better about myself, and get bit. As soon as I'm off the fish, don't see him, don't meter him, back it back on down to 8 or 9 knots, and this thing will still get bit just fine. This is what we do on our boat. It really works for us. There's been a lot of trial and error as well as sharing stuff with some of our friends. Works really, really well for us when trolling these high-speed lures, but we don't know everything. Why don't you tell us what you're doing? You doing something a little bit different? Leave us a comment. And if you like the content, man, leave us a comment, letting us know what you'd like to see next. Your comments really do shape the future of these videos, and we appreciate each and every one of them. Thank you so much for checking us out today. Hopefully this helps you put a few more fish in the box.